What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Mario Superstar Baseball Basics. This is the third Baseball Basics of the week. You guys remember that 400 subscriber goal to get these three Baseball Basics? Well, today we are nearly at 1,000 subscribers. That is so crazy. Absolutely insane. I appreciate you all so very much. And we might actually be at 1,000 by the time this video is coming out. I don't even know. But seriously, thank you all so much. If you're not subbed already, consider dropping a sub. We're going to 2,000 next. And who knows? Who knows where we'll be at the end of the year or something like that. This is absolutely amazing. Thank you guys so much. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So, today we're going to be talking about batting and base running. I get a lot of questions on my videos that are like, oh, well, why do you pull with certain hitters? Or why do you switch certain people to different handednesses? What's different about all the different colors? Things like that. So this video is going to go over all of it. We're going to talk about pushing versus pulling. We're going to talk about slap hitting versus charge swinging. We're going to talk about star hits. We're going to talk about stealing. We're going to talk about base running. It's all going to be in this video. Okay, so talking about batting first, we're going to go into which characters you should be charge swinging with versus which characters you should be slap hitting with. And I'll give you a hint. There's a very short list of characters you want to charge with in Stars Off Mario Superstar Baseball. Those characters all reside in the power category, and they are Donkey Kong, Bowser, Bro, all of the varieties, Petey Piranha, Lefty Pianta, only the red variety, and King Boo. And I will get into more specifics about why I said only Lefty, Red Pianta, but these are the characters that you're going to see charge swinging with. Some people will tend to charge with Wario if you have the chemistry for it, but he's not as reliable as a home run hitter as the other characters. Now, the reason you're only using these ones to charge is because these are the only characters that are really capable of hitting home runs consistently without getting perfect contact, which is just not reliable. So these are the characters that you're going to see charging with often. While we're on the topic of heavy hitters, I often get a question asking why we switch certain characters to lefty or righty, and I'll go over that right now. The biggest example of this is that we switch Pianta and Hammer Bro to be lefties rather than righties. Now, the reason for this is because on the default stadium we use for competitive play, Mario Stadium, the right field wall is closer than the left field wall. So you want to hit home runs over the right field wall because it's more consistent since you don't have to hit the ball as far. Now, you might be wondering, well, why can't I just keep my batter righty and just hit the ball to that field instead? And that's because several characters have what's called a pull trajectory multiplier. Now, what this means is when you pull the ball with that batter, you will get a 5% increase to their power on the swing, but when you push the ball, you will get a 5% decrease. Now, if you're not familiar with the terminology of pull versus push, I'll show you right now. A pull hitter, or pulling the ball, is when you hit the ball to the same side that your batter is on. So as you can see, my Hammer Bro is on the right side of the plate, so to pull the ball is to hit it to the right side of the field. That's as simple as it is. It's like as though I was pulling the ball toward the same side as him. That's pulling it just like that. Now, Hammer Bro is getting a multiplier by hitting it that direction. However, if I were to push the ball, which is the opposite, hitting it to the opposite field of my batter, he will get less power, and he will actually get a negative multiplier on his swing, which is why you can't keep him as a righty to hit over the right field wall. You want to make sure that you're pulling the ball with him. So you want to swing a little earlier, because that's how you get the pull trajectory rather than the push. Generally, if you're pushing the ball, it means that you were later on your swing, and you need to just time it a little bit earlier. Now, I said that there are pull hitters that you want to change to lefty to be a home run hitters. Now, you might be asking, well, are there any characters who I want to push the ball with? And as far as the heavy hitters go, yes, but it's not because they get a multiplier. There is a middle trajectory as well. So you have your push, your pull, and your middle. And King Boo is one of the characters with this trajectory. So with King Boo, often you will see people keep him as a righty, because people are just more comfortable with righty King Boo, and it doesn't matter which side of the field you're hitting the ball to with him, because it travels the same distance. You don't get any multiplier for hitting it either way. So King Boo is able to just push the ball over the fence like that, and that's a reason why you might want to keep King Boo righty. You could put him lefty if you're more comfortable pulling the ball with him, because that is an option as well. That is not what I personally do, so it is a little more difficult for me, but really, with King Boo, it is whatever you're more comfortable with. So that's about all there is to say as far as pulling the ball goes with power hitters. Donkey Kong, Bowser, Bro, Petey, Pianta, these are all characters that have the pull trajectory that benefit from pulling the ball. So you really want to just get into practice mode and practice using their pull hits to hit home runs. So let's move on to talk about slap hitting, where we're going to see a bit more of the push hitters. So we're going to take a look at a character like Yoshi. Yoshi's a character who has a very solid slap hit, and he's actually a lefty who likes to push the ball a lot. And as we said before, pushing the ball is hitting it to the opposite field of your batter. So the reason you want to push the ball with Yoshi, especially considering he's a lefty here, is because hitting it to left field means there's a better chance that he's going to get on first base since the ball wasn't hit toward first base. So even if you do hit it on the ground, there's a chance that you could still get an infield single. And also, a left-handed batter will reach... That was a great play from Pianta. A left-handed batter will reach first base slightly faster than a right-handed batter because, as you can see, I'm closer to first base than if I was on the other side of the plate. So the game actually does account for that, and you will notice a difference that you make it faster as a lefty. Now, as you saw there, I did hit a ball right up the middle with Yoshi, and it was still a good hit, and that's because Yoshi is just a regular hitter. He's not push, he's not pull, it doesn't make a difference, so you can hit it to all fields with Yoshi. It doesn't matter where you hit it. People tend to like to push the ball because they find it easier, and it's also, like I said before, it's a more of a guaranteed hit than if you were to hit to the right side because there's always a chance that maybe someone can throw you at it first. It's not likely, but it is possible. Now, characters that you're going to want to be slap hitting with are pretty much all of the other ones in the game. Basically, any other character you're going to see in the game is going to be wanting to use a slap hit. There are some exceptions when it comes to star hits, which we'll get into in a moment. But again, for the most part, you're going to be slap hitting with most of your characters. Okay, and moving on to the final type of batter in Mario Superstar Baseball. We talked about heavies, we talked about slap hitters, now we're going to talk about your star hitters. There are three important types of star hitters in this game. You have your Captain Star Swingers, which are the 12 captains in this game. There are the Pop Fly Star Swingers, and there are the Line Drive Star Swingers. And I'm going to go through all of them now and let you know who falls into what category and whether or not they have good star hits. So we're going to start off with the captains. Mario has a very good star hit in his Fireball. Luigi's Fireball is good, but you have to push the ball with him. Daisy Flower Ball is not that great if your opponent knows how to play against it. Birdo Egg Ball is one of the most volatile, strongest, and weakest at the same time star hits. It could be a huge triple, it could be a double play. You don't know until you hit it. Peach, same deal with Daisy. It's not that good. Waluigi has the worst Captain Star hit in the game. Yoshi Egg is a solid option to go for, but you will often only get a single. Donkey Kong Banana Ball is the most consistent way to get doubles in this game. It is very, very strong. Bowser's Killer Ball is not that great since it could be caught with a dive, and also you probably want to charge swing with him anyway. And same points to Bowser Jr., except for you want to slap hit instead of charge swing with him. Wario Garlic Ball is a 50-50 option. It's not super strong, but it can be okay in some scenarios. And, oh, I skipped right over Diddy Kong. His banana is basically a worse version of Donkey Kong's. It's a little worse, could still land for singles and doubles sometimes. So just to reiterate there, your viable Captain Star hits are Mario Fireball, Luigi Fireball, Yoshi Egg, Donkey Kong Banana, Diddy Kong Banana, Birdo Egg, and that's it. Those are all of them. Those are the ones you're going to want to be using. The other ones, you're probably better off sticking to just the character's regular slap hit. Now, moving on to your Line Drive Star Swingers. I will give you a peek at what a Line Drive Star hit looks like. I will take green Noki here and show you what it looks like. To star hit, you hold down the R button, and you can see here, the ball is hit on a line drive on a curve. Now, the best thing about line drive star hits is that since they do curve, you are able to hit them into the corner, which is something that's very valuable in this game. However, you do have to be careful not to swing through pitches like that because stars are very valuable. But a hit like that can be really good. It can sometimes give you extra bases depending on where you hit the ball. And another thing to note about the line drive star swing is that they are very double play prone. There is a good chance that you can hit the ball right at an infielder and you don't have time to send your runners back, which can then result in a double play. So something to note when using your line drive star swingers. Now, to go over who these line drive star swingers are, it's primarily the green variants of characters, and I will tell you every single character that has a line drive star hit right now. You have Toadsworth, green Noki, green Dry Bones, all 4 colors of Magikoopa, all 4 of them have it, green Paratroopa, and that is it. Those are your characters with Line Drive Star Hit. More often than not, you will see you'll see Magikoopa every game, and you will often see Noki and Paratroopa. Maybe not every game, but you will see them pretty often. Toadsworth is going to see almost every game. However, you're more often than not going to see his regular slap hit rather than his star hit, because it is considered more consistent, and it is just one of the best slap hits in the entire game. Oh, and actually, one more that I forgot. Boomerang Bro has Line Drive Star Hit as well. So, now moving on to our final type of star hit, we have the recently discovered Pop Fly. Now, we didn't just discover that it was in the game, but we did discover a way to make it more viable, and that's by making your batters righty and hitting inside contact. That's what you want to do with it. I will give you examples of it shortly, but first we're going to run through the characters that have it, and whether or not you're going to want to use them. So, Hammer Bro, he's one of the characters that has it. However, with Hammer Bro, you're going to want to make him a lefty to charge swing for home runs, so he's not someone you're going to want to use the star hit with. And the same thing goes for PD Piranha. Again, he has the option, but it's not very viable for him. Red Pianta is the only Pianta variant that has this star swing, and you definitely want to use it with him. You want to keep Pianta as a righty. Although a lefty is more capable of hitting home runs, Pianta kind of sits in a weird spot where he's not quite viable as a home run hitter. He just basically misses the mark. He still has his pull swing trajectory multiplier. However, he doesn't have enough power to put it over consistently, and he has a low trajectory. So that's why Pianta, you can keep him righty, and you can go for a star hit, and it's very strong. Red Noki has access to the star hit. You will have to change her to a righty. Red Dry Bones, as well, will have to be changed to a righty, but he has the star hit to use as well. Red Koopa has it. Make him a righty as well. I think he may be by default, but Red Koopa is a character that has it. And Red and Black Shy Guy both have it. They're a character that got boosted up a lot recently because of this. And your final character with the Pop Fly star hit is Toad. Both red and purple variants have the star hit. So I'm going to go ahead and show you it with Pianta, exactly what it looks like and what kind of contact you're going to want to be making. So basically what you want to do is you want to push the ball, again, so it's hitting it to the opposite field of my batter, and you want to hit contact on the inside of your bat, and it will land like that almost every single time. It's very consistent, it's very, very good, and it's a great way to make some characters who maybe didn't have very viable bats into solid batting threats. Because the advantage of this over maybe using your line drive is that this hit cannot get double played. Now, I can fly out like that if I make a little bad contact, but I'm not going to get double played because it's not being hit at an infielder, and I will always have time to send my runners back. But again, you could see that. It's very, very consistent. Pianta is just one of these characters that has it. So again, just the basics of using the Pop Fly star hit. You want to be a righty, and you want to make contact on the inside part of your bat, and you will get great hits just like that. Like, that's potentially a double against a real player. Who knows? Really, really strong, really interesting thing we just discovered, and something you should definitely be practicing in your arsenal of batting. So one final thing I wanted to go over before getting into how to practice your batting is batter's box positioning. So something that you'll see often are people moving to the very front or the very back of the box, and a lot of people have been asking why certain people do this, and honestly, when it comes down to it, it's just about preference. While sitting up in the box does mean that you have less time to react to the pitch, it also means that the pitcher has less time to curve it, which can be beneficial for you as well, and make sure that you're able to hit some pitches that maybe you wouldn't be able to before. Now, the same is true for sitting in the back of the box, because if you look here, if I move all the way back, now I have more time to react, and I can decide whether I want to swing or not. However, the pitcher also has more time to curve the ball, so again, a little bit of give and take there. Technically, moving forward in the box makes your exit velocity a little lower, but it's not significant enough to matter, and you should just sit where you're most comfortable. Now, before we move on to the base running portion of the video, I'm going to teach you a bit of how to practice with batters efficiently. Now, there's basically 2 or 3 different ways to go about this depending on the type of batter you're using, so we'll talk about heavies first. I would just hop into training mode, this is free batting and base running against Luigi, and say, I'm going to take 10 swings, and I'm going to hit 10 home runs in a row. And you just want to drill this until you can hit 10 in a row. Now, What I generally say is I can take a pitch if I don't want to swing at it, but once I swing, whether I miss or I hit the ball, that counts as my hit, and that breaks my streak. So obviously that wasn't a home run, so that doesn't count towards my streak. But if you want, you could sit here and say, okay, I'm going to take 10 swings and hit 10 home runs and just try to rip 10 balls over the fence. It can be a little frustrating, but that's the best way to get better at the game. You just want to grind nonstop in the batting mode to get super comfortable with the bats. And while it doesn't necessarily make up for being able to play real people, because the best way to get better is to play against real people, this can get you pretty comfortable with swing timings and with just general bat sizes. Now, as you can see, it is a little difficult to do this, but if you're determined and you like set your mind to it, you can definitely make some serious progress this way. So that's the best way I would say to test heavy hitters, and I would do a similar thing for slap hitters and for the star swingers. So maybe you want to hop in with, you want to learn how to swing better with Toadsworth. I'll hop into a game as Toadsworth and I say, I want to get 10 singles in a row. So I'll sit here, and I will wait for Luigi to pitch. Unfortunately, I grounded out. There's only so much you can do about that, but you just go again until you get 10 hits in a row, and then move on to the next character you want to do. You can kind of do this in intervals. You could set aside maybe an hour just to practice your batting, things like that. That is the best way to improve mechanically at the game. Obviously, again, playing real people is always going to be your best bet because you get true experience against how people pitch and stuff like that. But this is always a useful way to do it as well. And obviously, same is true for a star hitter. You hop in and say, I want to land 10 star hits. And I hop in here. On Project Rio, you can actually activate a code that gives you infinite stars, so you can always be swinging with the stars. And you say, I want to land 10 star hits in a row, and you try to do that. And this is really the best way to just get used to bat lengths and swing timing and things like that without having to go up against a real opponent, where sometimes it can be frustrating to just, swing and miss a lot or not be able to get the hits you want. And it's hard to learn when you're trying to win. So if you hop into practice mode and you're not trying to win the game, obviously, since this is just practice, you can try to go for these consistent hits, and it can be a good way to have a little bit of a training regimen for you to improve at the game. Base running can be one of the hardest aspects of this game to grasp because moving multiple runners at the same time can be a little tricky at times. If you look down below, there are the basic controls for base running, and honestly, this is all you need to know as far as base running goes. You press Y to move all your runners forward at once, you press X to move all your runners back, and you press Y or X and the direction you want your runners to go to just move one of them. So, I'll show you what I mean by that right now. I am on the bases right now. By pressing X or Y, I can choose to send both of my runners at the same time. Now, a note, if you just press the button once, they will stop, and then if you press it again, they will either go back or they will go forward. So if I'm going forward and I press X, my runners will stop, and then pressing X will send them back again. Now pressing Y to send them forward will stop them, and pressing Y again will move them forward. Now, you can do things like this, where maybe I send my runners back, and then I stop, and then I keep kind of moving it up like this. And this can be a good trick to use on some people, but it really is just a matter of trying to trick up your opponents. Now, obviously all the time, you're not going to want to move both of your base runners at once. That's not always a good thing for you. So, by pressing the direction that you want your character to go to, as well as Y, you're able to send just one runner at a time. So what I mean by that is, I want to move Noki to third base, so I press Y and to the left, since that's the direction on the diamond that third base is, and she will move towards third base. Now, if I just wanted to move Dixie Kong, I could press Y and up. However, I have a runner on second base, so I don't want to have two runners on the same base, so obviously you're going to want to move either both of them or just your lead runner. Another very important aspect of base running is stealing on the bases. To activate a steal, it works the same way as advancing your runners. You either press Y to steal with all your characters on base, or press Y and a direction to steal with just the character you want to send to the selected base. And you will steal once the pitcher begins to start their windup. So, if I press Y now, and then Luigi throws the ball, you can see that my runners ran once he started, and then it swaps to the fielding camera. However, there is a way to get a perfect steal, and that's by pressing the Y button as soon as the pitcher begins their windup. Just like that. You will see in the top right there that the word steal appeared in yellow rather than purple. That means that you got the perfect steal and you have the best chance of getting an actual steal done. You can see it right there, right when Luigi starts his wind up, I am able to steal, and I get that perfect steal. It is the best jump that you can get on a steal. And again, like I said before, you can press a direction as well as the Y button to select just one base to move to. I missed the perfect there, but you can see just Noki moved that time. Now again, moving multiple base runners at the same time can be a little tricky, so it's definitely something that you want to do a bit of practice with, but with enough time, you will see that you are able to move them around, and you can do some tricky stuff, like you can send your runner to second. Maybe I steal with my runner on second here, right? And then when they go to throw the ball, I can now steal home with the other character. That's a bit of a trick that maybe you could pull on some people. It does take a lot of practice. It is pretty difficult, but those are the basic controls of base running. The best way to practice this is to hop into a game against the Luigi pitcher in free batting and base running and just try stealing on him every time. A note is that the pitcher is able to go for a pickoff by pressing the B button and the base you're standing on, and if you press the steal button too early and they get you with this, you will be caught in a rundown and potentially thrown out. So if you see, I'm going to press the steal button early, and then I'm going to press B with Luigi. So I press the steal button now, and then B with Luigi. You see, he caught me here. So I can get thrown out like that, but Dixie's slide is incredible, so maybe she won't. But that is something to be aware of on the bases. Again, hopping in to free batting and base running and just trying to steal on the pitcher is the best way to practice your perfect steal timings. Now, against a real opponent, they can kind of swap up their timing, so it can be a little more difficult, but it doesn't hurt to try, and going for perfect steals is very valuable. As far as catchers go in this game, the only character that can consistently throw you out on perfect steals is Petey Piranha, and even then, by consistently, I mean he's the only one that can really do it with any sort of success. The only way to really guarantee an out on a perfect steal is when you're pitching with Boo and catching with Petey, and you throw them out with really good timing on a normal pitch. The stars have to align. Any character with relatively good speed and a perfect steal is almost a guaranteed steal. Again, Petey is the only character that can really make a dent in that, but if you're going up against, maybe a Bowser catcher or something like that, a bit of a weaker arm, a perfect steal with a character with maybe 6, 7, 8 speed is going to be safe nearly every time. There are some factors that determine this. There are different pitching speeds, there are different catcher arms, but again, perfect steals are your best bet for getting on second base with a steal. And one more note, actually, talking about getting on second base, stealing third is basically impossible in this game, so I wouldn't even try it. Alright guys, so that is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for the support lately. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you want to see in the next video. I've been having a ton of fun making these. 1,000 subscribers is absolutely amazing. I never thought we would be here, especially not this early along in the channel's life. So again, thank you all so much. Tell all your friends. Let's get us to 2,000 next. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.